To know the Somalis means to know a bit about their culture, land, and history. The Somalis are a people indigenous to the Horn of Africa. For thousands of years, they have lived in a large area of the Horn that possesses the largest coastline in Africa. Today, their homeland is broken up into fragments as a result of European colonization of Africa: Djibouti, Somalia, Ogaden, eastern region of Ethiopia, and NFD, northeastern region of Kenya. Map of the Somali regions of the Horn, ASPE. Map of the Somali regions of the Horn. They speak the Somali language, which belongs to the Cushitic branch of the Afro-Asiatic language family. The Afro-Asiatic language family also includes Oromo, Hebrew, Arabic, Hausa, Berber languages, and ancient Egyptian languages. One of the two pillars of the Somali culture is poetry. A person's intelligence was gauged by his use of language. Poets occupied a high station in Somali society, and a person who hoped to become a legitimate poet had to become an apprentice of an established poet and work up the rungs of increasingly difficult and complex poetry, which took years. Poetry is a part of storytelling, music, nearly every celebration, weddings and, in pre-colonial Somalia, politics and even war. Today, that love of poetry remains with the Somali people. They are also a predominantly Muslim people. Islam reached the Horn of Africa during Prophet Muhammad's lifetime, when Muslims were persecuted in Arabia and sought refuge in the Horn. The refugees first landed in Zila, Somalia, then made their way further inland. There are two Qibla mosques in Zila that were built in the 7th century, frequented by Somalis, showing that Islam has existed in the country since its beginnings. Before Islam was accepted by Arabia, due to Somalia's long coastline that runs along the Red Sea and Indian Ocean and its advantageous location, it was perfectly positioned to act as a bridge connecting maritime trade between the continents. Map of the trade routes of the Silk Road. Somalis were traders that participated in the Silk Road. Their long history as merchants located along one of the most important trade routes has led to a strong business sense in the Somali people, and it is not uncommon for them to succeed in business and entrepreneurship. Somali nomad with his camels. Another tradition of the Somali people is nomadism. The camel is of great importance to both Somali culture and history. The camel was first domesticated in Somalia, and there are more camels in Somalia than in any other country in the world. Camel milk is to Somalia what cow's milk is to the West. In Somalia, few people drink cow's milk. Even the name of the Somali people and their country seems to be related to the camel. A theory of how Somalia's name came to be was that it was derived from the phrase often uttered to guests, "Su mal," which means go milk, the camel. The phrase is also a display of Somali hospitality and generosity, which seems to be pervasive in the culture. Most who have been guests in a Somali household will witness this. This generosity also means being offered and fed much delicious Somali cuisine and the popular Somali spiced tea. Somali camel milk and traditional vessel used to contain it. Somalis are strongly a family-oriented people and will often maintain very close ties with their family. This means that there is somewhat of an open-door policy for Somali relatives who come and go as they please, often without prior notification. Elders also hold a high status in the culture, which translates to an integral role as decision-makers, mediators, and storytellers. It is custom for their children to care for them in their old age. Somalia is the land of frankincense and myrrh. Somalis also love their incense. After a meal, Somali mothers often burn some. It also has a traditional role in weddings, celebrations, and even Somalia's spiritual practices. From antiquity until today, the majority of the world's frankincense comes from Somalia, 82% today. Its frankincense is also of the highest quality, so the Roman Catholic Church purchases most of its stock from Somalia. A Somali man collecting myrrh from a tree. Photo by Somalia's Ministry of Information and National Guidance. Despite the confusion that sometimes exists about the people of the Horn, Somalis are not a mixed people. Somalis are often noted for their unique looks. In reality, they share many physical traits with other Cushitic peoples of North Africa and the Horn, as well as with various Sahelian peoples and Berbers, and share genes with these indigenous peoples. However, one is still be able to recognize a Somali through appearance alone. Somalis tend to be tall and slender, with a small frame. They tend to have oval face shapes, aquiline noses, almond-shaped eyes, and most commonly have curly hair. However, some also have wavy, straight, or kinky hair. They also vary in skin tone and, less commonly, hair color. Examples of famous Somali people outside of Somalia: CEO and supermodel Iman. In Michael Jackson's video Remember the Time, Mo Farah, Olympic gold medalist who represented the United Kingdom, praying after a victory. Model Halima Adan, who has made waves, first hijab women in the fashion world. Model Iman, who has recently modeled in Fenty Beauty's campaigns. Halima Ahmed, Somali lawyer and activist. Somali reporter, Haweya Fatal, Somali YouTuber Hawo Ayan. Examples of traditional Somali clothing: Somali women wearing traditional garments, girl on Somali Day wearing the Somali flag, boy in Somalia wearing a traditional shawl, woman wearing traditional Somali clothing, traditional Somali bride on her wedding day, women in Somalia in traditional sha'ash and gabarsar, Somali girl in the 1800s in traditional clothing, armlet, and braids that are undone halfway to reveal curls.